We are targeting to achieve 100 gigawatts by 2047. Nuclear Power Corporation itself is targeting about 54 gigawatts of installed capacity by 2047. I think it's a very transformative bill. It's a landmark moment for nuclear energy in the country. We anticipate that Indian players will enter nuclear power and play a substantial role there as well. As of now, the country has about 8 gigawatts of nuclear energy commissioned. We are targeting to achieve 100 gigawatts by 2047 and then further scale it to almost 300 gigawatts by 2070. And the country is targeting net zero by 2070, as you may know. Nuclear Power Corporation itself is targeting about 54 gigawatts of installed capacity by 2047. And for the remaining to be added to achieve 100 gigawatts by 2047, it is anticipated that the sector will be open to private sector participation. Obviously, this calls for substantial increase in the amount of capacity that is being added every year. And from now onwards until 2047, we expect the capacity addition on an annual basis to substantially increase.
Okay, and in terms of percentage share or the penetration?
So I'll talk more about, in terms of installed capacity. As of now, the percentage of energy in terms of units that is met by nuclear power is about 3%. We have only, 8 gigawatts of installed capacity in a total of 500 gigawatts of installed capacity in the country. Going forward, it is anticipated that, nuclear will increase more sharply than what we are going to add on the thermal side. And eventually by 2047, the capacity addition from nuclear will continue and increase and start supporting the base load, in the manner that thermal does today. And by 2070, if nuclear could support the base load instead of thermal, nuclear will begin to play a substantial role. In terms of capacity addition, like I mentioned before, we have about 8 gigawatts as of now, which is anticipated to increase to 100 gigawatts by 2047 and then to about 300 gigawatts by 2070.
Yesterday, about you.
I think it's a very transformative bill. It's a landmark moment for nuclear energy in the country. The bill proposes to repeal the existing Atomic Energy Act 1962 as well as the Civil Nuclear Liability Act of 2010 and proposes a unified single legislation for nuclear energy in the country. So it's a big leap forward. The bill also proposes to open up the sector beyond Government of India and central sector entities to enable private sector players, to enable foreign or global players, and to enable state sector entities to participate in nuclear power projects. It also addresses some of the major concerns around supplier liability, which were introduced in the CLNDA 2010. So global players and global suppliers will find it more attractive to enter into India now.
Okay. Do you foresee more French or the Russian playing the bigger role in Indian nuclear energy?
Yes, so the CLNDA 2010 had introduced liability on suppliers, which was a concern from their perspective. Now that the proposed amendment is likely to address the supplier liability concerns on civil liability, it is anticipated that French, Russian players will find more interest in the sector, and both as suppliers of technology and equipment, as well as as participants in the sector, maybe in JVs with Indian players, they are likely to show interest.
Yeah. What about the domestic player also?
So Indian, private sector players have played an active role, whether it is thermal power projects or it is renewable energy projects. And once nuclear power is opened up and an ecosystem is created in the country, we anticipate that Indian players will enter nuclear power and play a substantial role there as well.
Okay. And which states look this nuclear power, like atmosphere or seismic risk or the water availability? Which states are comfortable to start this kind of project?
I think it will be a site-to-site identification, and obviously the nuclear projects required a substantial amount of land because of the radius of or no containment zone of 1 kilometer in which no residential apart or establishment can be there, then there is another 5 kilometers of a safety or a growth zone in which there is limited habitation, and the project itself requires about 1,000 acres of land. So land requirement is substantial. Seismic concerns are there. Projects also require a lot of water, so it has to be near water sources. So typically, what we have seen is many of the projects developed in India are near coastal regions, but there are some in other states also. So it will be a site-to-site identification, and obviously some states which are more progressive may be working more closely with the center in identifying land or suitable sites for projects.
But still, any name of any state like the Telangana, anything means.
I think by going by population density, I believe maybe there could be sites in Rajasthan, or maybe obviously, and I think some of the coastal states are well suited.
Okay. And the data center pipe data centers in the future.
See, data centers, especially after advent of AI and Gen AI, are seeing a sharp increase in the load that they have, and you may have seen data center capacity itself is measured in terms of megawatts and gigawatts. So you can imagine the kind of load they are adding to the grid. And going forward, there as data centers scale up, especially in India, you may have heard about major announcements from large, cloud service providers. India will also need substantial power to supply to these data centers, and data centers need 24/7 electricity, and they can't totally depend on renewable energy, which is variable. Renewable energy poses a good alternative to renewable energy. Nuclear energy poses a good alternative to renewable energy sources for data centers.
Okay. So, will it reach data center? What do you think?
We have to compare the cost of nuclear with a 24/7, renewable or power, which requires a lot of storage to be in place, which increases the cost of renewable power as well. And to that extent, nuclear is a more stable source of power. And one has to see the overall landed cost of electricity. In that sense, nuclear is a viable, reasonably viable option.